Hello everybody, Iain Robson here, and welcome to our edition of Westbridge Hills. Alright, we got things going on today. If you recall from the previous episode, we were working away at tedding the hay over here. And as you can see, it's all been tedded, and now all we need to do is put it into a windrow. So we're going to do that this episode. Shouldn't take too long, I don't think. We could go for a bigger windrower, but it's not really of dire consequence that we get a big one. Mainly because our field isn't huge. If we were using, let's say, field 21 maybe, or 19, or 13 maybe, I would definitely consider getting a bigger windrower, but for now, this one seems to be functioning just fine. The other nice thing about having this size of windrower, of course, is the fact that our other tractor can use it as well. Although only one of them can be using it at a given time, and only one can. There's only so much you can do at the same time. So, in this scenario, I could use this tractor to put it into windrows, and then I would have to bale it with this tractor anyways. So, the only scenario that would work well, I suppose, is if this tractor was like planting, I suppose, and I use the other smaller tractor to put it into windrows. But then once I'm done with the windrows, I would need to get this tractor back here anyways, so. Kind of one of those situations where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Alright, let's turn around here. There we go, perfect. Alright, nice. So, I think last time I did this, I think I got somewhere in the area of 30 something bales, I think it was. Because it was about 2 loads worth of hay, I think it was, something on that area. I'm not 100% sure how much it was in the end, but it was something in that area, which is good because we definitely need to give our cows some more TMR. They are not running out. They're good for now, but they will run out again soon. I'm running low on straw again, apparently. I really like that mod that allowed me just to basically put the hay or straw even right into the feeding trough. Well, in the straw's case, of course, you're probably spreading you're spreading it out, I guess, all over the place. And then with the hay, I guess you're just putting it into the feeding trough. But it's pretty cool that you can do that without having to use a straw chopper or I guess a mixer you really need for the hay, now that I think about it. Which is kind of weird actually, because in real life you could just you know, put it into individual flakes, because they're squares. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a square bale, but it kind of like the way that it's made, it's like broken up into like flakes, I guess is what I would call them, and they're compacted together, so it's like you could take off a flake and feed it to animals if you wanted to. That particular reason is one of the reasons why a lot of horse farmers a lot of horse farmers like small squares, because they can give their horses smaller or not smaller, but more appropriate rations. So a lot of small hobby farmers, I guess maybe, or people who only have like 1 or 2 horses go for small squares just because of that. Allows them to do that relatively easily, as opposed to with a big, even a 4-foot round bale. It's too much for horses in a lot of cases. And as I understand, horses are really, really picky when they eat. So if you don't give them something that they like, they'll just leave it there. So you end up wasting a lot as well, which is one of the other reasons why they tend to use small squares, because they don't want to waste. Well, they want to avoid wasting as much as possible. So there we go, perfect. So as you can see, even though this is a small windrower, it actually doesn't take that much time. Like in real life, this is actually pretty big. Like, what is it, 9 meters? 9 meters is, I don't know, I can't do the math in my head. Something like 20 feet, maybe? No. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the conversion off the top of my head. I want to say it's 1 meter is 3 feet. So 27 feet, I guess, then? I don't think it's quite that. I think it's a bit less. I don't know. I can never remember that conversion. It's weird. If you're from Ontario, our driver's licenses are you get measured, like your height is listed in centimeters, and very few people list their height. And like if you ever ask somebody how tall they are, I'm like, well, how tall are you? I'm like, well, I'm a 5'8". That's what they'll say. They won't say, oh, I'm 173 centimeters. But it's listed on a driver's license like that for whatever reason. That always throws people off. Or someone says they're 1.7 meters tall, and for whatever reason, a lot of people they're like, they don't know how tall that actually is. Like the conversion, like in their head and the reference, they only know like when someone says they're 6 feet tall, everyone's like, oh, that's pretty tall. If someone says they're 2 meters tall, people are like, I don't know how tall that is. So stuff like that. Yeah, I guess it is 3 feet. 3 feet to the meter. Alright, I don't know what happened there. My computer decided to do something, which was really weird. That was really strange, wow. I don't know, it just kind of exited me out of the game and then made like a little sound and then continued on. I was like, okay. Not sure what the deal was there. I'll have to check that out after the fact, I suppose. I think in light of that, I'll probably make it a shorter episode, just because that's going to bother me now. I suppose I could pause it, but yeah. So if you're wondering why I was like, what the heck happened there? Yeah, it's because it just booted me out of the game for whatever reason. Maybe it's updating stuff, I don't know. I don't have many things set to automatically update, so it's possible it's that. But I don't need to upgrade my drivers for my video card, but that wouldn't happen automatically. I would have to do that manually. Alright, we got 2 passes left, I guess. It's funny, you don't actually get that close. When you actually cut it, it's not as close as, the actual windrow isn't very long, but, oops. But when you start actually putting them into a windrow, sometimes you get like these really long ones. Like this one, for example, that goes all into their field, basically. And, of course, that's probably partially due to the fact that, just the way I cut it as well, of course, but always makes me laugh. Because it's like, I don't know if that would actually happen or not, but it probably would. Alright. Yeah, like I said, I think it was maybe in the last episode, I've been having internet problems, so I switched the place where my modem and router are, and I put it to a different spot. And it seems to be fine for now. We'll see how long that lasts, though. For whatever reason, my internet kind of decides to drop the, like it won't be able to connect. I have a cable modem. I don't know what's going on with it, and it's really annoying, but I'm not sure. I was actually considering switching to DSL. I was looking at the prices and the DSL packages and whatnot for my internet service provider. And there were some options available, and one of the big pluses for me, because I upload to YouTube on a regular basis, was the upload speed. They actually provided a 10 megabyte upload speed for the package I was looking at, which is fantastic because I currently only have a 2 megabyte a second upload speed, so that would be like a 5 times increase, which would be enormous. So instead of it taking hours to upload a video, it would probably take minutes, I would assume. Which would be nice. I don't know how many minutes, but it would still be nice. So if I want to upload like a 2 gigabyte video, it wouldn't take nearly as long. That would be the plus behind that, at least. But the weird thing, because the internet service provider I'm with in Ontario here, they're called Tech Savvy, for those people who are wondering what it is. Tech Savvy rocks, by the way. Anyways, you have to actually buy your modem when you're with them. So if I were to switch to DSL, I'd have to buy a new modem. And the silly thing about my modem right now is the fact that it doesn't, it's not supported by the company that Tech Savvy works through. So because basically what Tech Savvy is they're like a reseller, I guess is what you would call them. So they get internet from other companies and they sell it to people like me, for example. And they have different packages and whatnot. And the way it works is, because they are not directly providing the internet to me, they go through a different company. They're subject to that company's whims, and one of those happens to be that my modem's no longer supported, which was annoying when I found that out. Because I was like, is it possible for me to change to a different program or a different... Because the package I have right now with them doesn't exist anymore. So I was wondering if I could change it to the next one up, which had a higher upload speed. And the only way for me to do that is to get a new modem, which was like, really? So if I want to upgrade, I have to get a new modem for cable. And if I change to DSL, I need to get a new modem. But anyways, internet woes. I should say first world problems, I suppose. All in all, not a big deal. It's functioning for the time being. I'm able to upload videos, so I'm not worried about it too much. Alright, so this will be the last pass, and then we can get started on baling. I love how, even though I'm not actually over on that last little edge over there on the left-hand side, I'm actually picking it up anyways, which I'm really happy about. I didn't think I was going to be able to... I thought I was going to do one more passage to get like a little tiny bit of hay, but in the end it looks like we're good, so I'm happy about that. I might, at some point in the future, buy this other field over here, field 20, whatever it is. There we go. I might buy field 20, and let's wait for those to fold up first, and make that into a grass field as well. We'll see. Well, we're over here. Let's just find out how much it is. I'm assuming it's in the 100 and... Well, that one right there was 50,000. So this is a bigger field, so maybe 75 to 100. That's my guess. Let's find out. Yeah, 87. I can actually buy it right now. I don't really need a second field at this particular time. But I guess you could use it to make silage from the BGA. The other problem with that is with silage, the price does fluctuate now. So if you want to do, you know, make money, it's a great way to make money, but the price will fluctuate now, as opposed to before where it didn't fluctuate at all. Well, certain maps had it where it did, but not every map had that function. So you had to be careful what how much you were selling. So in this scenario, you can only sell silage for an hour before the... Well, I guess I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it wouldn't change that much, but it would definitely change, because like you'd sell a little bit and then the price would adjust to however much you sold. But you're only selling like a scoop at a time, as opposed to like a 50,000 liter trailer, right? So, oof, that was close. But it maybe with the BGA extension mod, that might be different, because you can they only accept at a certain time. All you need to do is top it up, and then you'll get a consistent money flow. It's an interesting thought. I wonder how that will play with this. Huh. Another cool thing about that is you can actually put solid manure. So I have all that solid manure over there, and I'm not really using it because there's no real reason for me to use it. I suppose I could get a greenhouse, but it's not my style. I really don't care for that at all. Other people do, I don't, so that's why I don't do it. Alright, where's my baler? Sugar beets, not helpful. If it were barley, I'd be like, yes, or first canola, but alas, we don't have sugar beets at all. Although I did see Toby Moby, for those people who know who that is, Toby Moby. He plays with Fadman, and he plays with Hitman82. He actually released a FS15 episode. I think it was one of his very first episodes. And the very first thing he did was, if you know Toby Moby, he likes sugar beets. So it was a big surprise that his very first episode was about sugar beets, which is awesome, I think. I still can't believe how slow this has to go up this hill. It must be a much larger hill than I imagined. Like, in the game, it doesn't seem like a very big hill, but in real life, well, if you were standing there looking up the hill, I suppose it would be a really large hill. But it's hard to put it into perspective in the game, I suppose. Alright, here. I love how they have pollen flying through the air. Oh, let's just pass this guy here. Not that you really need to indicate here. There we go. Nice. You have to admit, they did a pretty good job with the indicators and everything on here, too. I was really surprised. That was one thing that was kind of like an added benefit on some mods. You'd have like the indicators. I never use them. I could care less. I just do it for fun sometimes. If it actually made a difference if you did it, then obviously I probably would use them more often. But alas, in this game, it does not make a difference at all whether you use them or not. Also, I put missions on, so now we have some missions we can check out. I don't want to do them. I thought they would be more interesting than that, but I don't really care to do those. But I thought I'd just curious to show you I was just curious about the job board, so thought I'd show you. So if you recall, previously in 2013, what would happen is if you had missions on, they would show up in front of your screen, and if you wanted to do them, you could. Actually, you could. Whereas in this scenario now, you have to go to a job board to pick it up, which is really cool actually, because that means that you can have missions on, and if you want to see what's available, you can do that. Let's just switch to hay. If you want to see what's available, you can. Whereas before, it got in your face sort of thing, so it was a bit annoying. All right, so let's bring up the information here. We haven't baled anything this session. No. So this is how many liters of fertilizer used. This is kind of a cool little statistic screen. So threshing duration. So apparently I've spent 9 hours threshing. I think that's actually in real lifetime. Yeah. Working duration. I don't know what that actually is. Seeding duration, dry. So that's how much time we've spent seeding. That's what that small seeder. Anyways, but the bales was there as well, and of course we haven't baled anything yet today, or I haven't at least. So not in this recording session at least, because it is early in the morning before work, and I'm recording this at, what is the current time? 7:06 a.m. And yes, I'm this awake at 7:06 a.m., believe it or not. It's funny when I tell some of my students, they're like, hey, so why do you wake up at 5 a.m.? I'm like, well, I record YouTube videos. And they're like, what? So I have to explain the whole thing to them. And it's actually quite funny to see different people's responses. It usually depends on, like, what kind of generation or what age group they're in, because I have some people who are a bit older, some people who are a bit younger. That's weird. So depending on their age group, it's actually quite funny to see what they have to say about about it. They're like, you do what? I'm like, I make YouTube videos. And I'm like, and you play a video game? Yes. And people watch that? Yes. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, I don't know. I do the same thing. So I actually try to watch a lot of, well, I don't try to, but I do watch quite a few people's videos when I get the chance to. I don't normally do it very often, depending on what's happening in the week. I don't get a chance to much, but during the weekend I try and watch a big chunk of videos. I'll watch. Who have I watching lately? Dirt Hebbers is one person who just started making his series, which has been awesome. I haven't seen episode 2 yet of his series, but I've seen episode 1, and I'm really happy with what he did, what he decided to do, I should say. It's not something I could do personally, because I can't keep a voice for that long. I don't think. Nah, maybe. If I tried, maybe it would be difficult though. I can't even do a good American accent. I think maybe I could do like a Louisiana accent, or I could say New Orleans. It's funny. We actually have a place in the city I live in called Orleans, and that's how people say it. But it's because it's a bilingual town. Some people say Orleans, like I would, and some people say Orléans. Never understood that. Well, I do understand the reason why. If you understand French at all, you'll understand the reasons why it's pronounced like that, but it always throws me off, that's for sure. So this is how fast it takes to bale it versus windrow versus tedding and cutting. So cutting, I think, is fast. Windrowing's relatively quick, but tedding takes a little bit of extra time, just because it's a smaller tedder. But you only have, believe it or not, 2 options of tedders. This one or this one. We can actually use both, but it's just a bit silly that you only have 2 options in-game. I think before, in FS13, I think you had, let me think here, 3 options I think it was. And even as mods came out, there weren't very many options for tedders. You had some of those old school tedders / windrowers. And then there were a few more rakes out. Like there was a Corone Squadro from Anti-Modding, which is a fantastic rake. It still would look perfectly. It would fit in on this in 15 as well, I think. And then you had some other rakes that were okay. You had the rake, of course, from the Titanium pack, which is the Corone Squadro 2000, which is in this pack, which is a lovely rake as well. I don't know how that bale managed to do that. That's the way, if you ever wonder, that's how some bales are dropped, like small square balers. You can set it up so they drop the bales like that. And what happens is you'll come around with a certain machine that'll pick them up. So like, for example, if you have a New Holland bale stacker, auto stacker, why is that one on edge too? What you'd be able to do is you'd come around here with your bale stacker, and the only way it would pick up this bale would be if it was on its edge like this, and then it'd pick it up and go through its system. It's pretty cool. It would, I guess, it would be similar to, it's like this basically. So instead of it picking up flat on the ground, it would be a vertical system. But it's an old New Holland system. They're still out there, but not common. So, 3 passes left. So how many bales have we done so far? We'll figure it out in the end. But as you can see, it doesn't make a crazy amount of bales. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't make a crazy amount, but it definitely keeps your cows going for a little bit of time. So I probably could make bales of hay more often. The problem is, it would be a big long. I would have to stop anything I'm doing with a harvester, which is normally makes you more money than this would. I guess you could sell it. There is a sell point here, I believe, for the little grass pile there. I believe that is a sell point for grass, but I don't think it would accept a whole bale. So, all right, got 3, including this one. 3 passes left, and then we're good to go. And then we can feed our cows. They're already at 100% though, so we do have $126,000. So we could technically get the not this, not that. This guy right here, which is 160 horsepower and a front loader. We could get that. But I think what I'll do is I'll keep the small front loader because I really don't have any reason to upgrade the front loader itself. I just need another more powerful tractor, and we do have a couple options for 126,000. What could we get? The Steyr? No, thank you. That looks ugly. That's just me though. There was the Ursus is actually 150 horsepower, and it's less than 100,000. I don't want to get Ursus because it's not an American brand. Although it looks like a cool tractor. That thing was one of Hitman's favorites. And where is it? This guy is only 50 grand, and he's 143 horsepower. Like, what's up with that? Again, not an American brand. So I'm trying to stick to an American brand. It's supposed to be an American map, so this is 150,000. I could get that one fairly easily, and that's 160 horsepower. Not powerful enough. That's the one we used to have, and we sold. I'm looking for something in this area, 320. Actually, what I would like to get maybe is this one, or one of these guys. And the reason being is because if we got one of these, then we'd be able to get the other cedar, because you only have this is the second biggest, and then it goes to these guys, and that's it. You have one. So in terms of regular cedars, you have this one, and this one. This one's just a beast. It's enormous. And I don't know if we need this yet, because I think what would happen is this is actually 3 meters wider than this guy, but I'm pretty sure the speed at which you can travel is slower than this. Because this guy you can sow the seeds at like 20 clicks, which is pretty darn fast. Just to give you an idea. So we could get something like this, which will allow us to plant corn. What other options do we have available to us? Like, we could save up for the man truck as well. I don't know if it's really worth it. $285,000 for something that can only use one thing. I would rather get a bigger tractor. Or we could get a bigger harvester too. What harvesters? What else we got here? I could get one of these. So it's weird. These two are like basically identical tractors. I don't think they have... this only has a 41-foot header, and this has a 45-foot header. Why on earth would you go for this New Holland if you had got a bigger header with the other car? Oh, that makes no sense. Let's just come over here quickly here. This is 13.7. Yeah, oh, they're the same size. Okay, that's weird. So they have... it really doesn't make any sense. You can get this or this, but the only way you can use this one... So this is... Is it only responsible or only good for... That's weird. Anyways, so... Honestly, this makes more sense because it's cheaper and you can use a 45-foot header on it. Why would you use anything else? I don't understand. Just saying. But we could actually get that in and this together. It's a 12-meter corn header. So that's a possibility. Anyways, folks, I think what I'll do is I got sidetracked there and I didn't finish what I was doing. What I'll do is I'll finish baling this off screen, and then we'll come back next episode, and I think we'll go from there. So I apologize for that little blip before. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna go check it out right now. Alright, folks, my name's Iain Robson. This has been, and that's Iain Robson. I don't know why. People think my name is Lane. It's not. It's Iain with an I. Anyways, side tangent. My name's Iain Robson. This has been Farming Simulator 2015, coming at you from Westbridge Hills. Catch you guys later.